We have already talked to you about types of tobacco, such as Virginia, Burley and Cavendish. And on the example of the last two, we could see that the type of tobacco, the component of the blend, is not always a variety, not always a plant. Peric, as a component of tobacco blends, also belongs to this category, the category of processes and technologies. We can trace the history of Peric only up to the time when it came to the attention of European colonizers. Some Acadian settlers settled on the west bank of the Mississippi, establishing several settlements, one of which was the parish of St. James, Paroisse de Saint-Jacques, which later became St. James Parish. Among the new settlers of St. James was a farmer named Pierre Chenet, whom friends called simply Peric, that is, Peric. He noticed that the Choctaw Indians, who lived in the area, grew a special kind of tobacco, and after the harvest was removed from the plantations, the Indians placed the tobacco leaves in hollowed-out tree trunks and pressed the tobacco with heavy stones. Peric became interested in the process and planted his own tobacco plantations, and after harvesting, he put the tobacco leaves into oak barrels and squeezed them using mechanical presses instead of stones. In fact, the same technology is still used to produce Peric tobacco, which gets its name from the nickname of the man who first technologically set up the process of its creation. But the uniqueness of Peric lies not only in the very process of its production. As has been said, the Indians prepared their potion on the basis of a special variety of tobacco, and this is indeed true. The tobacco bush, from which Peric was made then and continues to be made now, grows on a geographically very small scrap of land in St. James. All attempts to cultivate it elsewhere have ended in complete failure. Perhaps it's the mineral composition of the local Mississippi soils, but no one has yet provided answers to the questions of what exactly makes this tobacco variety unique, and why it is impossible to grow it elsewhere. In some ways, the tobacco bush growing in the unique terroir of St. James, from whose leaves Peric is made, is a distant relative of Burley. Tobacco is harvested from the plantation only by hand today, and is done in late June when the plant has produced 12 leaves, at which time the tobacco bush reaches a height of 60 to 75 centimeters. After the harvest, the tobacco is hung in barns without walls where it dries for a couple of weeks. The leaves are then rinsed with water and the central vein removed, which is also only done by hand. The tobacco leaves are bundled into briquettes, originally called torquette, weighing about half a kilogram and placed in oak whiskey barrels. When all the tobacco has been placed in the barrels, they are put under screw presses. This is how the tobacco will ferment. The task of the presses is not only to squeeze the juice out of the tobacco leaves, but also to expel all the air lurking in the folds. Once a month the pressure is removed from the tobacco, the torquettes are moved, swapped, air freshened a little, and then placed under the presses again. The whole process of making Peric takes a year, and the crown of the process is a dark brown, almost black tobacco with a slightly sour, fermented fruity flavor with hints of spice. However, oxygen affects Peric's character quite a bit, so after being extracted from the barrels, the tobacco is packed in vacuum packs, and in this form Peric can retain its characteristics for a long time. Peric itself is a very active component in terms of flavor, and Peric is also high in nicotine. It is used as a flavoring agent in tobacco blends, and is not used in its pure form. There was a period in history when Peric was used as chewing tobacco, but this period was very short. Peric is a very versatile tobacco, and can behave quite differently in different blends. Like handling spices, Peric requires special attention and skill from the blender. Handle it with care, and then it will thank you with amazing taste.